Carlos Alcaraz decides to return to where he was happy. Carlos Alcaraz has decided to return to Queens in 2025, one of the oldest tournaments on the calendar, which he has used as preparation for Wimbledon in the last 2 seasons, with success in both, winning the title in London each time. The 2024 season has been a roller coaster for Alcaraz, who has gone through different phases, starting with an irregular beginning, where he couldn't get past the quarterfinals at the Australian Open, to an absolutely historic second half, winning Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and coming close to an Olympic gold after losing in the final of the Paris 2024 Olympics to Novak Djokovic. However, where he struggled the most was at the end of the season, where he was far from his best level in the US Open, the Asian Swing, and the ATP Finals. For that reason, he has decided to change things up and approach next year's preparation differently, leaving aside the South American tour he's played in recent years, and in 2025, he will compete in the Rotterdam tournament during that part of the season. But not everything was negative, as he has opted to keep a tournament in his calendar that he won in 2023 and where he suffered a tough loss this year, but which served its purpose, to prepare for Wimbledon. And we are talking about the ATP 500 at Queens, one of the most prestigious events on the circuit, where Carlos Alcaraz will compete again. The Reconquest. The Spaniard has been announced as the tournament's biggest attraction for its 2025 edition, the lead-up to Wimbledon. Alcaraz, who won the title in 2023, couldn't play in 2022 due to an elbow injury despite being entered, and in 2024, he lost in the second round to Jack Draper. However, both in 2023 and 2024, he ended up winning at All England 3 weeks after Queens, so he wants to keep the tradition. I'm really looking forward to returning to Queens next summer. Winning the title 2 years ago gave me the belief to win Wimbledon for the first time, so it means a lot to me to compete here. I'm ready to come back in 2025 and give it everything to win another title. I want to join the list of players who have won it multiple times, like Feliciano Lopez, Andy Murray, and Andy Roddick, explained the El Palmar native, who is a great asset for Queens. The tournament will take place from June 16th to 22nd. And this year, it will be even more special, as the week before, a women's tournament will be played on the same courts for the first time since 1973. The ex-coach of Federer blames Djokovic for Carlos Alcaraz losing his joy. Carlos Alcaraz, the young Spanish tennis star, has had a year full of ups and downs on the professional circuit. Despite winning 2 Grand Slam titles and achieving feats like the Channel Slam, his performance in the second half of the year has raised some questions. Paul Annacone, former coach of Roger Federer, has pointed to Novak Djokovic as a key figure in the emotional decline of the Spaniard. 2024 started promisingly for Alcaraz, who successfully defended his title at Indian Wells and secured back-to-back victories at Roland Garros and Wimbledon. However, his performance in the North American hardcourt swing and his elimination in the ATP Finals group stage suggests something changed. Annacone attributes this shift to a particularly painful loss to Djokovic in the Paris 2024 Olympic final. Despite winning the silver medal, Alcaraz couldn't hold back tears after losing a close match 7-6, 7-6. According to the American coach, this experience left a deep emotional mark on the young player. In an interview on the Tennis Channel's Inside In podcast, Annacone reflected on Alcaraz's season. Carlos is a player full of joy. I think part of this year he lost some of that joy, and that was due to several reasons. Among them, he highlighted the Olympic defeat as a turning point, describing it as an important achievement, but also an emotional blow. The coach, currently mentoring Taylor Fritz, opined that while the silver medal was valuable, it was difficult for someone with Alcaraz's competitive mindset to accept. That moment broke his heart a bit and left him stumbling for the rest of the summer, he explained. Recovery attempts. After the Olympics, Alcaraz faced unexpected defeats to Botic van de Zandschulp at the US Open and Gael Monfils at the Cincinnati Masters. However, he showed signs of recovery in the fall by leading the European team at the Laver Cup and winning the China Open after an exciting final against Jannik Sinner. Despite these glimpses of improvement, the final tournaments of the year proved challenging again. The Spaniard did not reach the semifinals in key events like the Shanghai Masters, Paris Masters, ATP Finals, and the Davis Cup. Additionally, an illness before the year-end championship affected his performance. Looking ahead, despite these challenges, Annacone is confident that Alcaraz has the tools to overcome this slump. He has an incredible mindset and a great team around him. There's no reason why this should be anything more than a small turbulence in his journey, he said. With the season officially over after Spain's elimination in the Davis Cup quarterfinals, the current world number 3 will take some time to rest before beginning his preparations for 2025. His agenda includes a week of training with Jack Draper in Alicante and some exhibition matches before traveling to Australia to kick off the new competitive year. At 21 years old, Carlos Alcaraz remains one of the brightest prospects in tennis. Although this year has been a bit tumultuous, as Anna Cohn noted, the Spaniard still has all the potential to come back stronger and recover that joy that defines him on the court. The legendary coach chooses between Alcaraz and Sinner. Carlos makes many mistakes, but Patrick Mouratoglou, a renowned coach in the tennis world, analyzes the two most informed players of the year but ultimately makes his choice. The debate about who is better between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner is present in almost every tennis conversation. The two players have nearly opposite playing styles but are equally effective, making their encounters pure entertainment. In what is probably the best year for both players in terms of performance, Alcaraz and Sinner have established themselves as the top two players in the world. Their dominance in the 4 Grand Slams, each having won 2, has made many figures in the tennis world try to choose between the two. Patrick Mouratoglou, former coach of, among others, Serena Williams, is clear about his choice. One is ahead of the other, because when Alcaraz plays at his best, I think he can be better than Sinner. But he can't play like that throughout the whole match, and Sinner is always stable. At the moment, I see Alcaraz beating him more because he can create more. He has that extra power, and he can compete with him in terms of mobility as well. The issue is that Alcaraz is making a lot of forced errors, whereas Sinner doesn't, said the coach in comments reported by Eurosport. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, because in Tennis Zone, we provide you with the best information for the best audience, sharing in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and complete coverage of everything related to the world of tennis. Join our community and be part of the excitement of the tournaments with us. Additionally, at Tennis Zone, we strive to offer updated and high-quality content about players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in world tennis.